So, as a wardrobe supervisor, it's a little bit different than what would be like on a film set or a TV set. So in theater, because we're unionized here on Broadway, I deal with a lot of upholding the union contract for all of the people that I ultimately hire on the show to run the show. So basically when I'm hired by both the producers of the show and the designer, so they have to kind of mutually decide who they want to take care of their show. So my responsibilities to the designer are to maintain their artistic vision and their design for the long run, so that the show will always look the same every single night as it did when we opened on opening night, whether that is 2 weeks down the line or 6 years down the line or 20 years down the line. That's my job, to make sure that artistically every night the audience is getting that same quality of show and that artistic vision. And then I'm also responsible for everybody in the show as far as making sure that their needs are met as far as things fitting, things being comfortable, things being functional. And then I have to also make sure that the show works in the space that we're in. So I'm responsible for figuring out where all the changes are happening, how the quick changes are happening. We engineer a lot of the costumes to function the way they need to for those quick changes. And that is also part of a communal process too, with the designer and the design team, and then the actors who are having to do those things, and then our team who is also responsible for making those things happen as well. So I'm responsible to the cast, the creative team, and then also the crew of people who I heavily rely on to make all of this magic happen. And those are really like the unsung heroes of this process. So most actors, when you interview them, will talk about their dressers, and I'm kind of the person responsible for assembling those teams of people, and then making sure that they're very happy here, or as happy as possible.
And how many people are on your crew right now?
Right now, we have 12 dressers. We have a full-time laundry person, and we have 3 full-time stitchers, and then I also have an assistant who is with me full-time. And then we have numerous day workers. I think we have about 40 people on payroll just for the wardrobe department itself.
Can you tell me a bit about the difference between day workers and dressers?
So the dressers are here for the show. They run the show itself. They're not necessarily the people who are here during the day taking care of the costumes. So obviously, when the show is happening, the actors are wearing the clothes. So we can't fix them. We can't do maintenance. We can't press the shirts. They're wearing them. So during the days or the hour before the show call would start, there are people who are here ironing and steaming and checking that all of the zippers are working and all of the buttons are where they're supposed to be and that everything looks the way that it's supposed to look. A lot of times we are checking shoes, that the shoes aren't falling apart, because that's obviously very important, and dancers sometimes love to run their shoes into the ground. So that's a lot of just having a lot of additional eyes. That's what the day workers really are here to do. And then they'll also help to set up the show. So when the dressers come in to do the show, they have everything here that they need, and then they can preset their show within about 45 minutes to a half hour. So then the show can just at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock when we start, it just starts, and then everything happens seamlessly and there's no problems. That's always the goal. So the day workers are instrumental in helping keep everything on track, making sure everything is where it's supposed to be, and then the dressers are also responsible for that stuff. They're just here for usually a more limited amount of time, and it's different every single day depending on what needs to happen as far as who's here or not.
And how do new people usually start, as day workers or as dressers?
So I don't know that there's any real way into the industry. I think it takes a very special type of focus to do professional wardrobe work. We a lot of times think I dress myself, so I could probably just dress anybody. It's really easy, a monkey could do it. And then you realize that it is so much more it entails so much more than just putting on clothing. We're really here a lot of times as like the co-support for the cast to get through this incredibly physically challenging thing that we're doing for 2.5 hours, sometimes 3 hours every single day, sometimes twice a day. So you get really adept in like knowing about healthcare and vocal care, and you're there to kind of, somebody's having a really bad day emotionally, you're kind of a therapist a lot of times. If people don't know how to deal with somebody in a dressing room situation because they're uncomfortable, sometimes you'll interject into those types of things, on top of making sure that everybody has every single thing that they need to do the show. The aim is on Broadway that as an actor or dancer is coming in or singer is coming in to do their role, they shouldn't have to really think about anything else other than what they need to do to get on stage. And so we are the support staff that really helps them do that in any way that we possibly can.